Namaste, everyone. This, of course, is the wrap up for the body alignment half of the master course. So, thank you very much for taking the time to take care of one of the corners that everybody likes to skip, right? In the world of research, in the world of learning, there's no skipping writing it down. It's not enough to just do it. You actually have to write it down because you're not going to remember. And if you want to be able to compare things and actually play with larger amounts of information, then you got to write it down, right? So if you're one of the people that would rather, you know, flitter around like a butterfly as opposed to getting serious and building a dam like a beaver, right? Don't worry about it. We made this real short and easy. It's only 10 little groups, 22 actual questions. This is very easy stuff. This is a final exam that you can't fail because we just want to know what's happening for you. So I trust that in time you will come to appreciate having done this, right? So yeah, in the school of life, graduation means that you have gotten to posture ranking group 1, right? That's reality. But to graduate this side of this course, all you need to do is show some progress. It's not really that big a deal. If you're here, you've already done it. You know you have, or you wouldn't be here, right? So, all I'm looking for in that sense is to share something with everybody that will help make all these groups the kind of place where people can get along without a bunch of rules and bossiness and all the bad habits we've come to learn and know so well, right? If we want an environment like that, then we're going to have some kind of foundation that lets everybody do that. And this is the body half of that. You can't really have groups where people are having fun if everyone's in so much pain they can't move, can you? So, um, if you're 5 years old and you're not very good at reading, or even if you're 8 years old and you just really don't want to write all this junk down, get somebody's help, okay? That's not cheating. We want to know what this is so that you can take a picture of it and send it to me at ange@cleaninguplady.us, right? So, yeah, this time cheating's allowed. You can have somebody write down your answers for you, right? Okay, so the first one is, well, the first two questions actually are from the very first questionnaire that you did, the very first body lesson when we looked at how you move, right? So we want to do a bit of that again. All right. So you can just write the number 1. You don't even need to write down how you feel. Just write normally. I will know, as long as you keep these numbers here, I will know exactly what I'm looking at, right? You can just write the word normally and then give it a number from 1 to 5 again. These were the groups. Again, this is just, however, these are averages. How do you usually feel? When I say normally, how do you usually feel? Obviously, it's not going to describe all of your minutes. There's going to be differences sometimes, right? Number 1, of course, is great. 2 is good. 3 is overworked, but okay. So if you're a kid, that means, you don't really like going to school, but you can live with it, right? Number 4 is you notice that if you really stop to think about it, you might not think about it at first. You might call yourself a number 3, but if you stop to think about it, you do notice you're usually a bit sick. And number 5, of course, is there's no question in your mind that you feel like crap all the time. You're just wiped out, right? So give me a number for normally and a number for waking up. Here, let me put this up here again. You can pause the video wherever you want. Normally, when you wake up, bedtime. So let me know if that's the time, for example, that your parents decide you need to go to bed, or it's just whenever you happen to go to sleep or have decided to go to sleep. Let me know why your bedtime is at that time. That would be helpful too. But to make a little note of that. But basically, just give me a number for how you feel at bedtime. And if you know, a number for when you're sleeping. If you're really restless, or maybe you get nightmares all the time and you're yelling, probably people have talked to you about this stuff, right? So if you have a bit of a clue what it's like when you sleep, or if you notice that you always have to wake up every now and then and roll over because you got stiff or sore, right? However you normally feel. Okay, number 2 is from the part that said, there was don't/touch. And it was all these little things about what would you prefer to use to get something done, right? So we just have a simplified version here. The first question is in the wrong place. That's why I got confused by that before. Okay, we need a modification here. On the spot. This is pretty easy. Okay. Okay, that does not go there. That was in the wrong spot. So, have you noticed that there's stuff you use your body for more now? Like, for example, maybe you always tried to use a knife to cut your cheese, and it was kind of frustrating, and maybe you'd always get a grown-up to help because it was just difficult, and it would be chunky and uneven. It was hard to do. You just never... And now you realize you can just use your fingers, and it crumbles up real nicely, Or maybe something that used to be afraid to touch that you're not anymore. Do you notice you are using your body more? Have you played with taking your shoes off and going barefoot? Whatever you can think of, right? Number 2 is, have you noticed that you are more or less ticklish, whether it's in a certain spot or in general? Makes no difference. Just let me know what, right? As things stand right now, or, today, how are you doing right now? Do you still sit most of the time? Do you stand most of the time? Has that changed? You don't have to write down when it's changed because I've already got your old notes, but this is for you to be thinking about too, right? The last one is, have you noticed that you break things less now? Or have you noticed that you break things more now? If you're in that group, take heart because it's actually a sign of good progress. It means you used to be so stiff you didn't do nothing, and now you're trying to move, and you just haven't gotten very good at it yet. But it's still a sign of progress, right? So don't worry about it. If it's new, it's definitely progress. Okay. Yeah, maybe have your mom or dad watch that part of the video, hey? Okay, question number 3. Again, pause this video as much as you want. I'm just going to go through it pretty quick and easy so you can see what to do. But pause it as you go along because this is easy for you to do right here now with me. You don't have to go and figure this stuff out later, right? So number 3 is, let's redo your posture rating. So that was this one. Group 2 is, make this a little easier to read here. Group 2 means you have given some thought to posture. You know what good posture is. You notice when you're out of it and you automatically correct it. That's group 2. It's pretty good. Group 3, you feel like you're totally fine, but you probably realize that in all likelihood, logically speaking, you probably do slouch more than you realize. But you feel fine. You wouldn't say you're as mindful as a 2. It's not like, oh, yep, I'm noticing what's going on. But you really don't feel like anything is wrong, right? Number 4, you slouch, but you feel fine. Number 5, you have noticed that at times you are stiff and sore. Number 6, you notice that you are usually stiff and sore. And then, of course, the red groups are where you start to feel actual pain. Number 7 is, it hurts, but you can move, Number 8, it hurts, and it's gotten hard to move. And number 9, of course, is you need help to move. Whether you're super, super stubborn and you only use tools, you can be awful stubborn, but you're not getting around on your own anymore, and that's the bottom line, right? So, yeah, which group are you in? That was an easy one. Number 4 is all the broken back float stuff, finding your center of balance. So the first question there is, did you like that? How well did you like that? Was it like, oh, wow, I never knew that something I've been totally doing my whole life could be so radically different, and I just love I just love this new way of moving, right? Or maybe it's like, oh man, if I try to do that, I feel like I'll overthink it, and then it gets hard to move, and then I get frustrated because I can't do things as fast as I normally want to. What sort of experiences have you had maybe as you go through the process, and now especially, right? How do you feel now? Do you like it? Is it easier or is it harder? Number 5 is to put all the furniture fixes in order of whatever was your favorite. So these were the groups, and the order they're in on this page is just the order that I put the videos in. No biggie. But what I want you to do is write them down in a different order. This one you probably definitely want to pause the video for. You want to put them in the order of whatever you enjoy the most to whatever you enjoy the least at the bottom. Real easy, right? So then pause the video again. After you've done that, that's step 1. After you've done that, add, I don't think I can hold 2 as still as I can 1. So there we go. Okay. Now add a number rating for each of those groups. Did you notice a big improvement? Number 1. Did you notice a small improvement? 2. 3, you really don't feel like you noticed a difference. Number 4, you honestly didn't really use it, don't really use it. Number 5 is you've tried it more than once, right? You've tried it a few times, you just don't like it. You have no idea if you're screwing something up or not, but you just don't like it, right? Okay, so that's it for number 5. Number 6 is to redo your breathing count, right? Definitely stop the video again for this one, right? Because you want to, again, first thing you do is just kind of close your eyes and just relax. You're not trying to do anything, right? You just be, right? Just relax. Try to tune into your body. You can listen to your environment. Right now, I hear traffic. I hear a little motorbike, hear a truck passing by. There was a tire. Don't get too focused on any one thing, like listening for things. Just kind of tune into your senses. How does the carpet feel? How does it feel to stand there, right? Just kind of get calm and relaxed for a minute. And when you feel like you can, just count. Remember, for counting, you have the 1/1000 thing. Odds are your breaths might not even make up to a full 1,000. You want to count the in, and then you also want to count the out. So it might only be a half a second on each side, or if you really don't feel like it's even half of a second. Of course, if you've calmed down with me at all here, really shouldn't be that fast, right? Just when you're relaxed, do your count for your in and your count for your out, and do it over and over and over a few times until you notice the same number coming up for each one, and then that's what you write down, okay? Okay, so yep, that's number 6. Number 7 is about the stretching stuff. Question number 1, what felt the best to do? Question number 2, what didn't you like, right? Real easy. Number 3 may or may not apply to you. When you first started doing the stretching thing, of course, you watched a video based on your posture group, right? Maybe that's all you ever played with. Maybe not. Maybe you went back, went back and forth between these videos. We're going to be asking about the order you took everything and right down here. Maybe you mixed things up a bit, redid things, went back, did a higher group, tried some new exercises. Was there anything new you did past when you first started doing your first stretching posture video, right? Does that make sense? Okay. That's it for stretching. Number 8, draw me a little picture again. Just make a little picture of a head and a torso, right? And put some dots on the back of wherever your regular knots are. If you want to take a look at where they are now, or whether, I mean, you might send me a blank picture. That's fabulous, right? And then redo whether you have knots or not, right? Also, please redo the order that you've noticed the sections in your back relaxing in, whatever it currently is at. You have your neck, you have the upper, the middle, and the lower, of course. So just put them in whatever order for you is the order you notice things starting to relax in, right? Number 9 is, what order did you take these classes in? Did you go straight through from 1 to 17? Well, for the body ones, there was 3 introduction ones before that, right? 3 or 4. You get the idea. You don't have to write down B1, B2, B3, B4 if you did absolutely everything in textbook order and you only did it once. All you have to do is say, I did them in order, no biggie. But again, they're made to help people go back and forth as you start to work on things. And I would like to see the progress that you made, if you can at all remember. I really should have been talking to you about throughout all these videos. But do the best you can to take a stab at what order you did these videos in. Did you stop somewhere and do some of the emotion videos? I don't need full names or anything here. You can just, you can go back on my YouTube channel and look at the list, right? And just to remind yourself, and B1, E4, whatever order you did things in, just write it down. And number 10, the very last one, is body changes, right? While you were working on this side of the course, what changes did you notice in your body? Were there any, right? Some of them were even mentioned in the videos, right? Like one of the muscles you learn to relax in your neck has a huge impact on whether you feel like you just are dying and you got to get to the bathroom right now, right this second, or whether you could wait for an hour and it's never any big deal, right? That's a body change, right? Now, you don't have to know what caused it. It might not even be the things that you did with this course, honestly. We're not going to be able to really tell that well, I mean, you don't have to write down things like, say you got a rash on your leg and you tried this new cream and wham, it was gone in a day. It could be interesting. You can absolutely list every single thing you can imagine happening with your body because it can be interesting. But, if you want to skip stuff like that, that's kind of understandable, but I wouldn't get too skip happy because then you just start thinking nothing is related. And you have to remember that as all the chiropractors are preaching, anytime you come up with a systematic way to approach health like this, you can fix absolutely everything that's wrong with your body. I mean, motion is the core to life. You fix your back, you fix everything, right? So list any changes you've noticed in your body. Some of them might not be positive. Sometimes as things start moving, it's like you start out and maybe you're in posture group 4, you slouch, but you feel fine. And after working with me for a little bit, suddenly you're sore all the time. Like, it doesn't feel good, but it's actually a sign of progress because you didn't know you were so far gone, your body had shut down all your nerve receptors and it wasn't even allowing you to feel your pain. Right? These changes are important, and as long as they're happening along with the progress, you can take heart. Like in the civilized world, we're always worried about getting the answer wrong, right? It's like, no, wrong answer, no, wrong answer. Well, life does not operate like that. It really does not. If you are, I mean, it can, like if you put your hand in a fire, like, and hold it still, right? You're not one of the clever firewalkers or moving fast or something, right? You're going to get burned. And if you keep doing it over and over, you're going to keep getting burned. That's true. But at the same time, if it's not something specific like that, if you're like pursuing a course of health and normally you get good feedback from it and you notice something negative happening, like you got more sore as you started moving more, okay, this is a sign of progress. It's not bad things showing up doesn't mean you're screwing things up. When we start to listen to our body mind, we have to start paying a whole lot better attention to whether our body is saying that pain is good or bad, because there really are both kinds, aren't there? Right? So, yes, list your body changes. Anything that you can think of, list it and see. If you have dates and stuff, that's even better, because I've got, having tracked all your information, I've got dates for everything. So if you've got dates for this stuff, that's even better. But, as much as you can handle, right? So that's about it. Again, like the chiropractors say, fix your back, you fix everything. But there is a catch, right? And the catch is if you want change like this, if you want to start moving up those posture groups into like groups 2 and 3, you really have to change your habits, don't you? And that is not going to happen without changing how you feel. That's reality. There is no way. Like, your habits are your habits for a reason. You do them because there's things that they accomplish that you like. So changing your habits, when we think about it in this, it's like, oh, wrong answer kind of way. It feels very, very bad to change a habit, doesn't it? Like, changing habits is supposed to feel good. It's supposed to be done in a way that everything just keeps feeling better. You don't have to feel worse before you feel better. Sometimes you have to. I mean, if you've been blocking out pain, it's going to happen. But you're also going to move past that. And then you'll get to see that constant painless improvement. If you've started this before you're an absolute, total, complete wreck, then you don't ever have to worry about experiencing the pain you've been blocking out. But the point is, when you're talking about big changes like this and changing how you feel about things, changing, you don't just want to make yourself do an exercise every morning. You want to do that exercise every morning, right? That's really changing a habit. Really changing how you feel is not going to happen by rolling around on a log, is it? If you really want to take, my 30 years of research and roll it into 1 year of practice that turns you into a super person, there's no skipping the emotion half of this course. It just cannot be done. Most of the people who get kind of squeamish about that stuff, and they think, what, I'll just look at the body stuff. And if it's any good, it'll still do me some good, right? Sure, probably. But you're almost guaranteed, not almost, I hate to say always, right? I hate to be locked down to stuff like that, but really, it's like you're guaranteed to get stuck somewhere, because you are more than just how you move. There is mental stuff to balance out all the body stuff. There's just a strong connection that we can deny as much as we like, but it's still going to be something we keep experiencing, whether we believe in it or not. So, if you have, maybe doing number 9, you've already been doing your emotional stuff, you are good to go. You already know this, and maybe you're going to have some seriously fabulous results to report compared to the folks who have skipped all the emotion stuff before they got to this point, right? So, if you've already done all this stuff, you're good to go. Contact me for that graduation certificate. You're rolling, right? But for everybody else, I have a couple of thoughts. If you're trying to avoid bad stuff, because it's really easy to do that, right? It's like, whoa, that feels bad. I don't like that. I don't like that. We try to avoid. Well, that's how we get locked into that position sometimes of, we think everything is fine, and we didn't realize we just learned to ignore the fact that our body and mind were screaming. If you stop to think about it, trying to avoid bad things means that you believe that bad stuff is some kind of a flaw in nature that you are kind of helpless to do anything about. Stop and think about it. If nature is there to help you, then everything in nature is there to help you too, including your bad feelings. When you start to realize that those bad feelings are actually a tool that helps you understand how to truly eliminate bad feelings so they don't even bubble up in your head ever. Not even if people attack you. You can get really good at this stuff, right? You can make friends with your bad feelings. Then you really start. It gets easier and easier as you go along. In the beginning, it just starts with admitting it's possible. It's like, okay, all right, maybe bad things are something that really are a blessing in disguise, and I should stop avoiding them and stop being afraid of them. And just do it. Even if you screw it up, you're going to learn from it, and you know what? You're not going to be afraid of it anymore. And that's when the magic starts happening, right? It's not magic. It's just things that we understand very poorly because we've spent a long time trying to block all that stuff out and just stick with what we can touch and play with and try to make happen the way we want, right? So, yeah, that's about it. I mean, again, a logical challenge for you would be, which is likelier, that the universe is somehow flawed and manages to exist anyways, or that we just haven't figured out that we have something to learn about how the universe works and how to allow ourselves to experience health and happiness all the time, right? Without trying to block out the bad stuff where it's just automatic. What a thought, right? Yeah, we're certainly not going to get there by going around convincing ourselves that there's no way it could possibly be done, right? I mean, it can be good, like my parents, that felt healthy to them. It's like, if you're trying to expect perfection, actual harmony where people don't fight, I mean, that just sounds too good to be true, right? So there's some wisdom in not expecting perfection, to be sure. Absolutely. But you got to be real careful that you don't let that get twisted into believing that it's not possible. Oh, that's only possible in heaven. And so then you go along being a butthead because everybody does it and nobody, no. Okay. The reason that stuff is happening is because we keep doing it and we don't have to. We can if you're going to go there, we can bring heaven to earth. Can we not? Right? So if you believe in it, then I'm sure you can at least get on board with that statement, right? So, that's about it. So if you have not really taken this emotion stuff seriously yet, or maybe you just never even bloody thought about it, you just went in order and I hadn't brought it up yet, right? Except that I have, haven't I? I've been talking about going back and forth, doing things a bit at a time. So yeah, if you're ready, when you're ready, I will see you on the other side. Namaste.